Hello, Internet. I'm Narz, and welcome to the Power Up. With more and more gamers turning to Switch, the outsized personalities of professional wrestlers provide inspiration for these nascent streamers. Some wrestlers even become gamers, or gamers become wrestlers. This episode is dedicated to exploring that bridge, which has become more fortified as esports and gaming grow. Today's guests straddle both worlds: professional wrestler and gaming commentator Cresta Starr, and the esports caster who put the G in G4, Goldenboy. For every parent who thinks that their kid is wasting time playing video games, look no further than the career of this popular caster and very good friend of mine, host with the most and a global icon and national treasure. Let's welcome to the Power Up, Goldenboy! What's up, Primo? Welcome!
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Narz.
Congratulations again. You just recently joined the rebooted G4. That's super exciting, adding to the roster of the popular esports and gaming commenters. How did you come across this opportunity, and what do you think about the future of G4?
There were a lot of people at G4 that I knew from working with them previously. Blair Herter, for example, he was at IGN and he was at a few other companies that I had worked with previously. He said in a recent staff meeting, I just always have to hire this guy anywhere I go. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for Blair. As far as G4's future goes, part of the charm of G4 was always the comedy and the slapstick humor. We lose out on the fact that, like, yes, esports is serious. Yes, you know, game releases and the money that it generates, it's serious business. But it's still video games at the end of the day. It's still meant for entertainment and fun.
But let's talk about wrestling, because that's where I really brought you in here. Now, besides Xavier Woods, what are some parallels between professional wrestling and esports?
Video games are insane and ridiculous, and it's awesome and fun. And professional wrestling is literally the same thing. So how can we try and marry that together? And I tried to implement that with my commentary style. That was always something that I was very focused on, was how can I bring a type of energy and excitement to commentary in my own voice, in my own way, where I don't sound cookie cutter and I try and just be me, right? And I think that I had found that happy medium, and I'd learned from folks like Jim Ross and Michael Cole, were really inspirational for me growing up, and Taz, right? Like, just the way that they interacted with one another. It was genuinely just a fantastic thing to watch. All
right, so I gotta know, who are your top 3 pro wrestlers?
I've always been into the technician side of professional wrestling. So for me, it would probably be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, old wrestler, just a brilliant mind in the ring. Kenny Omega, I've always enjoyed his work. And then probably Daniel Bryan would be the 3 that I would pick. As far as women wrestlers go, it will probably be Thunder Rosa. She's right now probably having the best matches of her career. Charlotte Flair. Have always appreciated Charlotte Flair's ability. And then, you know what? I'm going to throw a new name on the list because I'm excited for her future, is Bianca Belair. She just won the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Her and Sasha Banks had probably one of the greatest technical women's matches I had ever seen.
What do you think is the best wrestling game that's out there?
It's not No Mercy, but WrestleMania 2000. I think the wrestling games up until that point for the WWE were not particularly great. And that one just like established it in such a way that was so awesome. It was so easy to pick up and play.
So, Goldenboy, are you ready to play a game with me?
Sure, what do you got?
All right, so we're gonna play this game. It's called Fact or Fiction. I'm gonna say a statement, and you have to confirm whether it is a fact or it's fiction. You ready for this?
Yeah, this is exciting. Okay, let's do this.
All right, the statement is, the largest wrestling event ever was held in North Korea. Is that a fact or a fiction?
How can we possibly know if that's a fact? It has to be fiction.
It is fact. Collision in Korea was a joint event put on by WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling that took place in Mayday Stadium, bringing over 300,000 people over 2 days.
Wow, okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay, you ready for the next one? Real American was created specifically for Hulk Hogan. Is that fact or fiction?
I'm almost certain that's a fact.
It is actually fiction. Hulk Hogan's iconic theme song, Real American, was actually created for a tag team, the US Express, after Barry Windham, half of the team, left WWF. The entrance music was given to Hulk Hogan, who had been using Eye of the Tiger at the time.
I lost 2 of them! This is insane!
Thank you so much, Goldenboy, for joining me on the Power Up. Yep. Love you, Primo. Best of luck in 2021.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure to be here.
Our next guest feeds off the energy and theatrics of some of the world's most popular pro wrestlers. She's an uber talented host, wrestling nerd, and competitive gamer, Cresta Starr! Cresta Starr, thank you so much for joining me today on The Power Up.
Thank you for having me, the best, the star of the show, the main attraction.
Okay, I gotta ask.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The belt, is it heavy?
It's heavy.
Holy crap.
Heavy is the crown of the champion.
You make it look so easy to carry. What attracted you so much to the sport of professional wrestling? Considering that you are a gamer, where does your history lie in getting into the wrestling industry?
So I have two brothers, and growing up in that kind of household is very male-centric thing. So whether it was video games or wrestling, it was just always something to watch with my brothers, very family camaraderie. What made me get back into it, because I stopped watching wrestling towards the end of the Attitude Era, I started watching wrestling again because I started seeing women actually wrestle. At the time, Becky Lynch was at the height of her fame, Ronda Rousey was there. So to see women actually get into it, mix it up, I thought was amazing.
You're a big content creator on TikTok. You do a lot of reactions and commentary about pro wrestling. What do you think has improved over the years, specifically with wrestling games and just wrestling in general?
Accessibility is what's really important because, yeah, you could watch wrestling online, but now there's so many mediums to consume wrestling content. And there are so many wrestlers who are gamers and vice versa. You could go on Twitch right now and catch your favorite Ember Moon, Xavier Woods, whoever, and go crazy with them and know them on a different level rather than just, oh, I know you pick people up and put them down.
So I gotta know, Cresta, what are some of the funniest moments in wrestling? On TikTok, you mentioned when Stone Cold Steve Austin filled Vince McMahon's car with cement, but is there another funny moment in wrestling history?
After Stone Cold Steve Austin put Vince McMahon in the hospital, the nurse was like, okay, we'll come back, the doctor will see you, and all you hear the doctor in the background, I got it from here. And then Stone Cold beats him up with a bedpan.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Cresta Starr, for showing up at The Power Up and talking to me about wrestling and gaming.
Thank you so much for having me. You look fabulous. I love to talk about wrestling anytime.
Thanks to Cresta Starr and Goldenboy for joining us today. I'm Narz, and I'll see you next time on The Power Up on In the Know.